Welcome back, listeners. So in this video we'll study about transistors output characteristics, what the curve tell us, and how to choose the operating point, and why the cutoff, active and saturation regions matter for amplifiers and switches. So transistors output characteristics, regions, load line and Q point will be the point of our discussion today. So learning objective. So by the end of this video you will read and interpret BJT, output characteristics plots. Then number two, draw DC and AC load lines, determine Q points, and apply safe operating area and power limits to the real circuits. So let's move ahead. So here we have considered common emitter configuration. So as we have discussed in our earlier classes about various configurations of the transistor. So here we have considered the common emitter configuration of the transistor, and here the emitter terminal is connected to the ground, or it is common to both input and output loop, and we have across the input base and across the output is collector, and emitter is in the middle. So similarly the polarity, considering the NPN configuration. So this is NPN configuration. So this is the polarity. Now this we have discussed in our earlier class also. So now today let us consider one more component which we normally add in a circuit, that is a resistor. So the function of this resistor RB is to safeguard the transistor. That means since we already know the value of the amplification factor is beta, and the beta value ranges from 100 to 600 around. So if we have a higher amount of voltage across the input, then it will automatically increase the output current to a very higher value, so which may damage the transistor also. So in order to save the transistor, what we do, we put a high value of resistance across the input. So let us consider this value is 10 kilo ohm. So this 10k will save the transistor from getting damaged. Now similarly across the output also we provide a resistor, and that resistor is known as RC. So if we plot the transistor output characteristics for this configuration, then we have a output like this, as we can see here. Now these are various conditions for base current. So suppose let us consider at IB equals to 0 milliampere, this is the output, and here the current is almost 0, and the little amount of current that is flowing will be due to the reverse saturation current, that is ICO. Now in our case, in common emitter we call it as ICEO, correct? Now then as IB current increases, the collector current also increases. Suppose 2 milliampere, then suppose IB equals to 5 milliampere, then suppose 10 milliampere, and so on. Okay, so the current will gradually increase in steps. Now why this output characteristics is very much essential, or what kind of properties it will tell us about the transistor. So the transistor output characteristics is very much essential, and it provides the information where the transistor is working on. So for example, if we are considering the condition for reverse bias and reverse bias, so in this condition what will happen, the current will not flow across the transistor, but the little amount of current that we have is due to the minority charge carriers, which is the reverse saturation current, right? So this is the region which represents this reverse biasing, and this operating region is called as the cutoff region. So in cutoff region, the current should be 0, and the current, little amount of current that we have here is due to the reverse saturation current, that is ICO. Now if we have the second condition as forward bias, then what will happen? The transistor will go into saturation. So the saturation is given by this area. So this area represents the saturation of the transistor. So this is saturation region. Okay. Now then what is forward bias and reverse bias? So this is called as the active region. So the active region is given by these areas where the transistor behaves for amplification properties. That means during this area the transistor will amplify. Now let us consider one more case where the transistor can be operating. For example, if we increase the current to a higher extent across the input, that will increase the current to a higher extent. That means the current will increase to a very high value, and we should never reach this type of region during operation, because this region or this area will damage the transistor, and it is also known as breakdown region. So breakdown region is the region where the transistor lose its capabilities, and the current will abruptly increase to a very higher value. So we have four different regions in the transistor. So those four regions are: saturation is number one, suppose, then cutoff is number two. So these two regions are required for transistor switch condition. Then for active, we have another region, and then last region is breakdown region. So in these regions, the transistor will operate. So now depending on where the transistor is available, we can determine how the transistor is behaving. So for example, suppose if we have the transistor characteristic somewhere around across this point, so that means the transistor is working as an amplifier. Now if we have the transistor point somewhere around here, so that means the transistor is in cutoff mode or cutoff region. Then if we are having somewhere around here, then the transistor is told to be in saturation region. And then finally, if our transistor is working somewhere around here, that means the transistor is already in breakdown region. So the output characteristics provides the information of the transistor functioning. So we can also call this as a map of the transistor. So as we know, in order to identify where we are currently standing or where we are situated, we require a map. So for the transistors, where it is working, that depends on the output characteristics map. Okay, so I hope you have understood up to this. So different regions of the transistor output characteristics. Now moving ahead, next is load line. So in order to plot the load line, so as we can see here in this output loop, so if you write down a KVL equation, then it will be VCC minus current is IC, so ICRC, then minus VCE equals to 0. So VC is the voltage drop across this terminal. This is VCE. Okay. In order to determine the load line, what we have to consider? First thing is we have to consider VC is 0. So if VC is 0, then using this equation, we'll have the value of IC as VCC by RC. So that means a point somewhere around here where VCE, this is VCE, right? The x-axis is VCE. So VCE is 0 and IC is given by VCC by RC. So which represents this point. Okay. Now the next point is where the current is 0. So if we provide the current to be 0, then value of VC equals to VCC. So which will lie across somewhere around in the x-axis, which represents the VCE value. So now in order to have the load line, we have to just connect these 2 points, right? So now as the DC load line is drawn, so now in order to understand where the transistor is intersecting with this load line gives the operating point of the transistor. If we consider this is the characteristics of the transistor, then this point represents the Q point. So Q point is VCEQ, comma ICQ. Okay. So this is the DC load line. I hope this is understood. So this is a very important topic. So to understand where the transistor is currently working in, so we have to identify the point or the region with respect to the transistor output characteristics. Okay, so I hope you have understood this. So if you have any doubt, you can put it in the comments so that we can clarify all your doubts. And if we have missed anything, that point can also be covered in the next video. So thanks for joining. Do subscribe so that we don't miss any content. Thank you for joining.